Manchester United's transfer revolution. Why Martinez and Estupinan could be the perfect follow-up to Mbeumo. Imagine waking up to find out that Manchester United aren't just stopping at Bryan Mbeumo. What if they're planning something much bigger? What if the Red Devils are about to launch a transfer assault that could completely transform their squad for the better? Well, United fans, that's exactly what's happening right now. After making progress on the Mbeumo deal, Manchester United have set their sights on two more Premier League stars who could solve some of their biggest problems. We're talking about Emiliano Martinez from Aston Villa and Pervis Estupinan from Brighton. Both players have proven themselves in the Premier League, both want to join United, and both could be exactly what Ruben Amorim needs to build his perfect team. But here's the big question. Are United finally learning from their past mistakes? Are they building a team that can actually compete? Or are they just throwing money at problems again? Let's dive deep into these transfer stories and find out what they really mean for the future of Manchester United. The new Manchester United transfer strategy. Before we talk about these specific players, let's discuss what's really happening at Manchester United. For years, the club has been buying expensive players from other leagues who then struggle to adapt to the Premier League. Think about it: Jadon Sancho, Antony, Rasmus Højlund, Joshua Zirkzee. All talented players, but all struggled when they came to England. Now, under Ineos and Ruben Amorim, things are changing. The message is clear. Buy players who already know how to succeed in the Premier League. It's a simple idea, but it could be revolutionary for United. This new approach makes perfect sense. Why spend 80 million on a player from another league who might not adapt, when you can spend the same amount on someone who has already proven they can perform at Premier League level? It's about reducing risk and increasing the chances of success. Matheus Cunha was the first example of this strategy. Now, with Martinez and Estupinan in their sights, United are doubling down on this approach. The question is, will it work? Emiliano Martinez, the goalkeeper United need? Let's start with the big one, Emiliano Martinez. This is a transfer that could completely change Manchester United's season. But why would United want to replace Andre Onana, who was one of their most expensive signings just last year? The answer is simple. Martinez has something that Onana doesn't: Premier League experience and proven ability to perform in big moments. The Argentine goalkeeper has been one of the best shot stoppers in the Premier League since joining Aston Villa. He's won the World Cup with Argentina, he's helped Villa qualify for the Champions League, and he's shown time and again that he can handle pressure. But here's where it gets interesting. Martinez apparently wants to join Manchester United. Reports suggest he's offered himself to the club and is actively seeking a move away from Villa. When a World Cup winner wants to join your team, you have to take notice. The numbers speak for themselves. Since joining Villa in 2020, Martinez has been incredibly consistent. He's made crucial saves in big games, he's helped Villa punch above their weight, and he's proven he can handle the pressure of playing for a big club with high expectations. Compare that to Onana's first season at United. While he wasn't terrible, he made some high-profile mistakes and looked uncomfortable at times. United fans never felt completely confident with him between the posts. With Martinez, that confidence would return immediately. Why Martinez wants to leave Villa? So why would Martinez want to leave Aston Villa? Villa are in the Champions League, they're doing well under Unai Emery, and Martinez is clearly their #1 goalkeeper. What's the appeal of joining a Manchester United team that finished in the bottom half last season? The answer probably lies in ambition. Martinez is 32 years old, and he knows he doesn't have many years left at the top level. He's achieved a lot with Villa, but he's never won a Premier League title or played for one of the truly elite clubs in world football. Manchester United, despite their recent struggles, are still Manchester United. They're a club with history, with ambition, and with the resources to compete at the highest level. For a player like Martinez, the chance to be part of United's rebuild could be incredibly appealing. There's also the Ruben Amorim factor. The new United manager has a reputation for getting the best out of his players, and Martinez might see this as the perfect opportunity to work with a coach who could help him reach even greater heights. The financial side of the Martinez deal. Aston Villa reportedly want around £40 million for Martinez. Is that good value for a 32-year-old goalkeeper? In today's market, it probably is. Proven Premier League goalkeepers don't come cheap, and Martinez has shown he can perform at the highest level. Consider this: United paid around 50 million for Onana, who had no Premier League experience. For 40 million, they could get a goalkeeper who has already proven he can succeed in English football. From a value perspective, it makes sense. The age factor is something to consider, but goalkeepers can play at the top level well into their late 30s. Martinez could easily give United 4 to 5 years of top-level performance, which would make the investment worthwhile. Pervis Estupinan, the wing-back solution. Now let's talk about Pervis Estupinan. On the surface, this might seem like a strange signing for Manchester United. They just signed Patrick Dorgu, they have Luke Shaw on the books, and they chose not to activate the buyback clause for Alvaro Carreras. So why are they interested in another left-back? The answer lies in Ruben Amorim's tactical system. Amorim plays a 3-4-2-1 formation that relies heavily on wingbacks. These aren't traditional fullbacks who just defend. They're attacking players who need to contribute goals and assists while also doing their defensive duties. Estupinan is perfect for this role. In 84 Premier League appearances for Brighton, he's contributed 17 goals and assists. That's incredible production for a defender. He's young enough at 27 to improve further, but experienced enough to make an immediate impact. Luke Shaw, when fit, is a good player, but he's rarely fit. United can't rely on a player who spends half the season injured. Dorgu is promising, but he's young and unproven at Premier League level. Estupinan gives United a reliable, experienced option who can contribute immediately. Why Estupinan wants to join United? Like Martinez, Estupinan reportedly wants to join Manchester United. He's asked to leave Brighton, and United are his preferred destination. But why would he want to leave a Brighton team that's doing well and playing attractive football? The answer is probably similar to Martinez's ambition. Brighton are a well-run club, but they're not going to win the Premier League or the Champions League. For a player in his prime, the chance to join Manchester United and be part of their rebuild could be very appealing. Estupinan has shown he can perform at Premier League level. He's been one of Brighton's best players, and he's proven he can handle the physical demands of English football. At United, he'd have the chance to take his game to the next level. There's also the tactical fit. Amorim's system would suit Estupinan perfectly. He'd have the freedom to get forward and contribute in attack, while also knowing he has the defensive stability behind him to cover when he goes forward. The Brighton replacement strategy. Here's something interesting: Brighton have already signed Maxim de Kuiper as a replacement for Estupinan. This suggests that Brighton are expecting Estupinan to leave, and they're planning accordingly. Brighton are known for their excellent recruitment and planning. They don't usually let players leave unless they have a replacement lined up. The fact that they've signed de Kuiper suggests they're confident that Estupinan will be sold this summer. This could work in United's favor. If Brighton have already found their replacement, they might be more willing to negotiate a reasonable fee for Estupinan. It's a win-win situation. Brighton get a good fee and a replacement. United get their man. How these signings fit Amorim's system. Let's talk about how Martinez and Estupinan would fit into Ruben Amorim's tactical system. Amorim plays a 3-4-2-1 formation that requires specific types of players in specific positions. Martinez would be crucial as the goalkeeper. In Amorim's system, the goalkeeper needs to be comfortable with the ball at his feet and able to distribute accurately. Martinez has shown he can do this at Villa, and his experience would be invaluable for a United team that's still learning Amorim's methods. Estupinan would be perfect as the left wing-back. In Amorim's system, the wing-backs are crucial. They need to provide width in attack while also being solid defensively. Estupinan has shown he can do both at Brighton, and his crossing ability would be a huge asset for United's attackers. Together with the potential signing of Bryan Mbeumo, these three players would give United a completely different look. They'd have experience, Premier League knowledge, and the ability to perform immediately. The competition for these players. Of course, Manchester United aren't the only club interested in these players. Martinez has been linked with Barcelona, while Estupinan is also attracting interest from AC Milan. This creates competition which could drive up the prices. But United have some advantages. They can offer higher wages than most clubs, they have a history that appeals to players, and they're building something exciting under Amorim. For players like Martinez and Estupinan, who are in their prime years, the chance to be part of United's rebuild could be very appealing. The key for United is to move quickly. In today's transfer market, hesitation can be costly. If they want these players, they need to make their moves soon. What this means for current United players. If these transfers go through, what does it mean for current United players? For Andre Onana, it would obviously mean losing his place as number one. That's never easy for a player, but it's part of football. United need to make decisions based on what's best for the team, not what's best for individual players. For Luke Shaw, the signing of Estupinan would create competition. But given Shaw's injury record, having a reliable alternative might actually help him. He could focus on staying fit and performing when he's available, rather than feeling like the whole team depends on him. For the young players like Patrick Dorgu, playing alongside experienced players like Martinez and Estupinan could be incredibly beneficial. They'd learn from players who have proven themselves at the highest level. The financial impact. Let's talk about the financial side of these potential signings. Martinez would cost around 40 million, and Estupinan would probably cost a similar amount. Combined with the Mbeumo signing, United could be looking at spending over 150 million on 3 players. That's a lot of money, but it's money spent on proven Premier League performers. Compare that to United's recent signings, where they've spent similar amounts on players who then struggled to adapt to English football. From a business perspective, these signings make sense. United would be buying players who are likely to perform immediately, which should improve their league position and potentially qualify for European competition. That would bring in additional revenue to offset the transfer costs. Fan reactions and expectations. Manchester United fans seem cautiously optimistic about these potential signings. After years of disappointment, they're wary of getting too excited. But the prospect of signing 3 proven Premier League performers has definitely caught their attention. The fact that all 3 players reportedly want to join United is particularly encouraging for fans. It shows that despite the club's recent struggles, top players still want to play for Manchester United. That's a positive sign for the future. However, fans are also realistic about expectations. They know that 3 signings won't solve all of United's problems. The team still needs to gel, they still need to adapt to Amorim's system, and they still need to show they can compete with the best teams in the Premier League. The bigger picture. These potential signings are about more than just individual players. They're about Manchester United showing they've learned from their mistakes and are building a more sensible transfer strategy. For too long, United have been buying expensive players from other leagues who then struggle to adapt. Now, they're focusing on players who have already proven they can succeed in the Premier League. It's a much more logical approach. If these signings go through, they would send a strong message to the rest of the Premier League. United would be showing that they're serious about competing again, that they're willing to invest in the right players, and that they're building for the future. Potential challenges. Of course, these signings aren't guaranteed to work. Football is unpredictable, and even the best players can struggle when they change clubs. There are several potential challenges that United would need to overcome. First, there's the integration challenge. All 3 players would need to adapt to Amorim's system and build relationships with their new teammates. That takes time, and United fans are notoriously impatient. Second, there's the pressure factor. Playing for Manchester United is different from playing for Brighton or Aston Villa. The pressure is different, the expectations are different, and the media attention is different. Not every player can handle that pressure. Third, there's the age factor, particularly with Martinez. At 32, he's not getting any younger. While goalkeepers can play at the top level well into their late 30s, there's always a risk that his performance could decline. What success would look like? If these signings go through, what would success look like for Manchester United? In the short term, it would mean immediate improvement in performance. United would expect to see fewer defensive mistakes, more attacking threat from the wingbacks, and better overall team cohesion. In the medium term, success would mean qualifying for European competition. United have been out of the Champions League for too long, and these signings should help them get back to where they belong. In the long term, success would mean competing for major trophies. United haven't won the Premier League since 2013, and they haven't won the Champions League since 2008. These signings alone won't solve those problems, but they could be an important step in the right direction. The timeline. When could these signings happen? Transfer windows can be unpredictable, but there are some clues about the timeline. The Mbeumo deal is reportedly close to completion, which suggests United are working quickly on their transfer targets. For Martinez and Estupinan, the timeline might depend on their current clubs. Villa and Brighton will want to secure replacements before letting their players go. Brighton have already signed a Kuiper, which suggests they're prepared for Estupinan's departure. United would probably want to complete these signings before they go on their preseason tour. That would give the new players time to integrate with the squad and learn Amorim's system before the season starts. The verdict. Are these the right signings for Manchester United? Based on the available evidence, they seem to be. Martinez and Estupinan are both proven Premier League performers who would fill important positions in Amorim's system. The strategy of buying experienced Premier League players makes sense given United's recent struggles with players from other leagues. It reduces risk and increases the chances of immediate success. Of course, no transfer is guaranteed to work. But these signings would represent a clear improvement in United's transfer strategy and a step toward building a more competitive team. Looking ahead. If these signings go through, they would represent a significant statement of intent from Manchester United. They would show that the club is serious about competing again and that they're willing to invest in the right players. For United fans, these signings would provide genuine reasons for optimism. After years of disappointment, they would finally have a team built around proven Premier League performers who want to play for the club. The next few weeks will be crucial. Transfer windows can change quickly, and United will need to move fast to secure their targets. But if they can pull off these signings, along with the Mbeumo deal, it could be the beginning of a new era at Old Trafford. Final thoughts. Manchester United's reported interest in Emiliano Martinez and Pervis Estupinan represents more than just two potential signings. It represents a fundamental shift in the club's transfer strategy and a recognition that they need to be smarter in the transfer market. These aren't glamorous signings that will generate massive headlines. They're sensible signings that address real problems in United's squad. Martinez would solve the goalkeeper uncertainty, while Estupinan would provide the attacking threat from wing-back that Amorim's system requires. Combined with the potential signing of Bryan Mbeumo, these three players would give United a completely different look. They'd have experience, Premier League knowledge, and the mentality needed to compete at the highest level. The question now is whether United can complete these deals. In today's competitive transfer market, nothing is guaranteed until the contracts are signed. But if they can pull off these signings, it could be the start of something special at Old Trafford. After years of false dawns and disappointing transfers, Manchester United fans deserve to dream again. These potential signings give them genuine reasons to believe that better times are ahead. Whether that optimism is justified will depend on what happens in the coming weeks. But right now, the future looks brighter than it has for a long time.